Total wastewater collection and treatment is $130,595.05. For estimated biweekly payroll is governmental of $53,034, police $185,969, fire $167,110, transportation $27,632, cemetery of $3,288, park $19,269, sanitation $49,057, maintenance garage $8,041, light fund $96,158, wastewater treatment of $21,416, wastewater collection of $37,461, water and filter of $59,757, for a total estimated biweekly payroll of $728,191.
Do I have a motion to approve the bills and payroll?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. For those of you that are just receiving the audio, the only two things that we have done at this point is the approval of the minutes from March 17th, and then we've just approved the minutes of the bills and payroll. Next, we have some proclamations, and our first proclamation is the National Child Abuse Prevention Month. We are joined by Mr. Ken Hunley. Ken, if you want to step up there, and I'm going to give you a few minutes, and then I'm going to read the proclamation.
Sounds good. Appreciate it. I know you're used to having Daphne Maddox with CASA coming, but she could not be here today. So as Kevin pointed out earlier, you're stuck with me today. So we appreciate the mayor and the city council for the support that CASA has thrown throughout the years. We appreciate the attention that this proclamation will give to the child abuse prevention efforts in our community. In 2021, there were 122 children who were in court abused or neglected. In 2024, this number is 252. The CASA serves 48 children last year using 13 different volunteers. We're only serving about 10 to 15% of the children that need to be served. CASA volunteers are instrumental in ensuring the children get the needed therapy for trauma that was inflicted upon them in their home, to find tutoring for those who have fallen behind their peers in school, and to support their relatives and foster care placements, and ensure parents know what they need to do to rectify the situation the children find themselves in. CASA trains community volunteers to represent these children in the family court system. The voice volunteers give children allows them to receive more services and find a safe, permanent home as possible. The little flyer that I gave you gives you activities that are happening in the month of April, Child Abuse Prevention Month. If I can just share a couple of personal notes. Those of you that know me know that I have a heart for the young people of our community. I served as student ministries pastor for 35 years at First United Methodist Church. I began the Chrysalis community in 1989. I love the young people in our community, and I've constantly told them that they are blessed to be raised in a community that supports our young people, and CASA is a way that we can continue to do that. I was aware of the work of CASA, but until I came on the board, I didn't realize how important the work was and how critical it is. And I myself on the board and other board members, the staff, and especially the volunteers are committed to doing all we can do to make a difference in the lives of these children. We need volunteers, and I know that our community will step forward. I appreciate the support that the city of Madisonville gives CASA as an organization, but also individually for what you do. There's a great need in our community. I was recently in court with some of the volunteers, and the stories that I heard it broke my heart. And those stories are repeated time and time again. We need volunteers, and we need support of the community. And again, I know this community, and I trust this community, and I think they'll step forward and do all we can to meet the needs of these children. Kevin, thanks so much for allowing me to come and be a part of today's meeting.
Thank you, Ken, and we appreciate you stepping in for Miss Daphne. I know that she would love to be here if she had that opportunity. The proclamation reads, whereas in federal fiscal year 2024, the Kentucky Department of Community-Based Services confirmed 20,201 victims of child abuse or neglect, including over 224 in Hopkins County. And whereas child abuse and neglect is a serious problem affecting every segment of our community, and finding solutions requires input and action from everyone in our community, and whereas our children are most valuable resource and will shape the future of Kentucky. And whereas child abuse can have a long-term psychological, emotional, and physical effects that can have a lifelong consequences for victims. And whereas protective factors are conditions that reduce or eliminate risk and promote the social, emotional, and developmental well-being of children. Whereas effective child abuse prevention activities succeed because of the meaningful connections and partnerships created between child welfare, education, health, community, and faith-based organizations businesses, and law enforcement agencies. And whereas communities must make every effort to promote programs and activities that benefit children and their families, whereas we acknowledge that we must work together as a community to increase awareness about child abuse and contribute to promote the social and emotional well-being of children and families in a safe, stable, nurturing environment. Whereas prevention remains the best defense for children and families, whereas the impact of abuse and neglect has long-term personal, economic, and social costs, therefore hurting Kentucky's future, whereas court-appointed special advocates, CASA volunteers, are assigned by the court to speak up for a child's best interest and to help ensure a child's voice is heard. Whereas every abused child deserves a CASA volunteer, but roughly 75% of the children in care do not have a CASA volunteer. 1,360 CASA volunteers spoke up for the best interests of 3,376 children in Kentucky last year. CASA of Midwest Kentucky Incorporated, Child Protective Services, Child Advocacy Centers, foster parents, teachers, and others work to ensure that the children in our community have a safe and happy future. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Kevin Cotton, do hereby proclaim April 2025 as a National Child Abuse Prevention Month in Madisonville, Kentucky, and urge all citizens to recognize this month by dedicating ourselves to the task of improving the quality of life for all children and families. And I do want to speak just for a moment on my personal interactions with CASA. Not only was I a board member many years ago when I served at the fire department, but I'm also a foster adoptive parent and have been for many years, and have had over 50 children in and out of our home. The CASA volunteers have been instrumental in speaking up and being a voice for the children that we've had in our home, and for that I'm deeply grateful. My parents, my mother in particular, has also decided that since that process of seeing how CASA impacted our children as foster children, she was able to become a CASA volunteer and had served for several years as a CASA volunteer until recently when she decided to retire. I will tell you that the need for volunteers is great. If you have a heart and a passion for children and you're looking for a way and an opportunity to serve this community and to serve these children, CASA is the way to do it. Ken, would you please step forward as we present you with this proclamation? All right, our next proclamation is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And we do have a representative here from Sanctuary. I see Ms. Cassandra in the back. We're going to read the proclamation, and then I'll let you speak if you would like. I see her shaking her head in the back. Whereas Sexual Assault Awareness Month is intended to draw attention to the fact that sexual violence is widespread and has public health implications for every community. And whereas rape, sexual assault, and sexual harassment impact our community as seen by statistics indicating that 1 in 5 women will have experienced sexual assault by the time that they've completed college. And whereas we must work together to educate our community about what can be done to prevent sexual assault and how to support survivors. And whereas with leadership, dedication, and encouragement, there is compelling evidence that we can be successful in reducing sexual violence in our community through prevention, education, increased awareness, and holding perpetrators who commit acts of violence responsible for their actions. Now, therefore, we, Kevin Cotton, Mayor of the City of Madisonville, and Jack Whitfield, Hopkins County Judge Executive, do hereby proclaim April 2025 as Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month in Madisonville and Hopkins County, and call upon all citizens to support the efforts to heighten awareness and work to end all forms of sexual assault. Ms. Cassandra, would you come up to receive this, please? All right, our next one is a joint proclamation as well, and it is the Fair Housing Month. And it reads, and we have with us the new director of the Housing Authority, Miss Brandy. If you want to come up and say a few words, and then I'll read your proclamation.
Hello, how's everybody doing? I just want to say that, one, I enjoy what I do down at Madisonville Housing Authority, and one of the things that I really wanted to do was bring back pride back into the community and allow the Housing Authority to be a part of the community, Hopkins County, in which, like at this time, I have almost 98% occupancy. 186 people currently live in Housing Authority, and I have 150 Section 8 vouchers on the street as we speak right now. So there's a great portion of our community that is currently a part of the Madisonville Housing Authority, and I want them to feel like they are a part of the community, which is why one of the things I started with was Fair Housing Month. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. The joint proclamation reads that whereas the month of April marks the anniversary of the passage of the Fair Housing Act of 1968, a landmark law that prohibits discrimination in housing based on race, color, religion, sex, disability, familial status, and national origin. And whereas fair housing is a fundamental right that promotes equal opportunity to economic stability and strong communities by ensuring that individuals and families have access to housing of their choice without discrimination or barriers. And whereas the ongoing commitment to fair housing principles fosters inclusive and diverse communities, benefiting residents of all backgrounds and contributing to a stronger and more vibrant society. And whereas the current housing crisis, characterized by rising home prices, limited affordable housing, and increasing homelessness, underscores the urgent need for continued advocacy, policy initiatives, and community collaboration to ensure access to fair and affordable housing for all. And whereas it is imperative to raise public awareness about fair housing rights and responsibilities, to promote compliance with fair housing laws, and to encourage communities' efforts in support of equitable housing practices. And whereas policymakers, housing authorities, and community stakeholders must take decisive action to expand access to affordable housing, invest in housing programs, and implement policies that support fair and inclusive housing development. And whereas the recognition of April as Fair Housing Month serves as a reminder of the progress made and the work still necessary to eliminate housing discrimination and ensure fair housing opportunities for all. Now therefore be it resolved that we, Kevin Cotton, Mayor of the City of Madisonville, Kentucky, and Jack Whitfield, Judge Executive of Hopkins County, Kentucky, hereby proclaim the month of April as Fair Housing Month in the City of Madisonville and Hopkins County, and encourage all residents, organizations, and businesses to support and uphold the principles of fair housing. At this time, I know we have several board members. If you all would like to come up to the front, we'll present you with this proclamation.
Straighten up. Smile, Mayor.
It was a smell.
Thank you all very much. Okay, now we will move on to department reports. Do we have a business license report? It's, I think, in your packet. So if you have any questions about the business license report, just let us know and we'll get those answers for you. And then we have planning and zoning, Ms. Mandy Todd.
Mayor and Council, I have the Zoning and Permit Office activity report for March. In March, we had 1 residential addition, 4 residential accessories, 2 new commercial permits, 1 commercial addition, 7 commercial alterations for a total of $10,161,000 in construction cost for the month of March. We also had 3 sign permits issued, 1 HVAC permit, and a fire suppression plan review permit, and 4 new mobile food vendor permits, for a total of 24 permits issued. Total permit fees collected were $11,944. Any questions?
Questions for Ms. Mandy?
Thank you.
Right, thank you, ma'am. Next, we'll move on to new business. We have the second reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 52.12 of the City of Madisonville Code of Ordinances relating to waterworks connection charges.
Yes, this ordinance has been amended. Well, the amendment shows that the fee shall be charged and collected for water connections are shown in policies and procedures of the Water Distribution Department on the City of Madisonville website located at www.madisonvilleliving.com. And that's the only changes that we've taken those others off.
And that's to align it with what we've already been doing on the other side of the waterworks. So at this time, do I have a motion to approve the amended ordinance to 52.12 of the City of Madisonville Code of Ordinances?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions? If not, Kim, can we have a roll call?
Misty?
Yes.
Marvin?
Yes.
Adam?
Yes.
Larry? Frank?
Yes.
And Glenda? Yes.
All right, motion passes. Next, we have a resolution of the City of Madisonville, Kentucky, authorizing the mayor or designee to make an application through the Kentucky Division of Waste Management for Recycling Fund through the 2025-2026 Kentucky Pride Fund Recycling Grant Program.
Whereas the City of Madisonville, wherever appropriate, seeks outside funding opportunity to assist in providing equipment and supplies that increase the ability to offer services to the community. And whereas the 2025-2026 Kentucky Pride Recycling Grant Program offers the opportunity for the City of Madisonville to be better stewards of their environment through an expansion of its current recycling program. And whereas the 2025-2026 Kentucky Pride Recycling Grant Program requires successful applications to provide a minimum of 25% of the grant request in the form of cash or in-kind match. Now therefore be it resolved on this 7th day of April 2025 by the City of Madisonville, Kentucky, that the mayor or his designee may make an application through the 2025-2026 Kentucky Pride Fund Recycling Grant Program.
All right, do I have a motion to approve for me or my designee to make application for the recycling funding?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? This is for a fork truck for the recycling and a skid steer. So we have been successful in the past with this grant, so our fingers are crossed and hope that we can get that same success this time. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we have a resolution to declare the fire department equipment as surplus property.
Whereas the City of Madisonville Fire Department owns the following, there's Scott air packs, and there's 38 air packs, 101 cylinders, 76 masks, 2 RIT kits, and other miscellaneous items of the air packs. Whereas the City of Madisonville requests to dispose of the equipment by means appropriate according to KRS 82.083. Now therefore be it resolved as follows, that the above equipment is now declared as surplus, and the city is authorized to dispose of the equipment by means appropriate to KRS 82.083.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the equipment as surplus property?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions?
These are air packs that have been replaced. They have a life that needs to have reached the end of their life.
Correct. We were able to receive a grant to replace our air packs as a whole across the department, and these would be the old packs that are coming out of service. Any other questions? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we have an item for discussion.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that the council move into closed session pursuant to KRS 61.8101B for discussions concerning deliberations on the future acquisition or sale of real property when publicity would be likely to affect the value of the property.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
At this time, we will retire to the front conference room, please.
Motion.
All right, we have a motion to come back from closed session. Do we have a second? Somewhere we have a second. We have a motion and a second to come out of closed session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. We now are back in open session. At this time, we do have one order of business left.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second? Second, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? We stand adjourned. Thank you.